prayerfully, Mr. Rob Gildenhouse.
Judge each day, not by the harvest we reap, but rather by the seeds we sow. Contest master, fellow toastmasters, and guests. That's a quote from Robert Louis Stevenson. What's he trying to say in that quote? I doubt seriously if a lot of us would go with the side of planting seeds rather than reaping abundance. But to me, he says, planting the seeds in our mind. You know, I had the great fortune of being born and raised on a farm. And there on that farm, I learned a lot about nature. And one of my most favorite times of the year is going out, tilling the ground, and planting seeds. Because it was so cool. That ground would create this plant. You know, our minds are just like that soil. We receive thoughts. Those thoughts are the seeds. And once planted, and we focus on, they too grow. The soil has one simple job to do, is to make that seed grow, turn it into a plant. The soil knows no difference between a productive seed and a weed. It's got a job to do. Likewise, our minds are the same way. We have thoughts, some very positive, useful thoughts, others very negative and destructive thoughts. You know, every year, the farmer goes out and spends a lot of money, plants a lot of seeds. That farmer has to have faith. He has to have faith that that seed is going to turn into a crop. And it's going to reap a harvest. Likewise, our minds. When we think of something that we want to create, like that farmer, you've got to have faith that you're going to create and harvest what you plant. One thing I learned is when we went out in the spring and planted corn, guess what we harvested? Corn. We planted beans, we harvested beans. What are we planting? What seeds are we sowing? We walk down the street with a smile and have that spirit about us. What do we get back? We get back smiles. If I walk down the street and deck somebody, guess what I'm going to create? Probably some bruises. What about how we think about our relationships? How we think about our co-workers? How do we think about prejudice, resentment, and anger? What are we creating? A real-life experience. May 9th, 2006, I was headed to work. I got T-boned. My driver's door was in the console and I was in the driver's seat. I woke up in the hospital with breathing tubes and feeding tubes and drainage tubes, broken ribs, punctured and collapsed lung, torn diaphragm, fractured C2, and that list goes on. While I was in the ICU room, I threw this party. Yahoo! Me, myself, and I, we had this pity party. Why me? Why did I deserve this? I'm trying to do good. Why me? Those were seeds of anger, resentment, frustration. Like we heard in Terry's speech about his friend John. You have to find a way to overcome those adversities. Fortunately, I was able to pluck that seed out. And just like a small acorn, you plant that in the soil, and it grows into this magnificent tree that stands all the test of time and nature. It's deep-rooted. That little seed that I planted was, what have I got to be grateful for now? With that question, thoughts came to me. Hey, I'm alive. I have loved ones around me. I have caregivers taking great care of me. 4 months later, I had a follow-up surgery. The surgeon said, Ralph, we have no explanation. You healed as if that accident was 18 to 24 months ago, not just 4 months ago. She says, it's your attitude. I say it was that seed of gratitude that I planted. Mr. Stevenson, I don't think, was saying we shouldn't appreciate abundance and greatness in our life. I do truly appreciate that. But what I focus and what I judge my day on is what thoughts, what seeds am I planting in my mind to make the world better, to make myself better. That's why I ask you, plant seeds carefully. Contest master.